This past 4th of July, lives were instantly and forever changed in Highland Park when 7 innocent people were killed and dozens more injured in that mass shooting during the annual holiday parade.
And since that horrific day, the people of Highland Park have been very vocal in calling for change in gun laws while also working to heal from that trauma. Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering joins us this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Now, we know the city has been busy working on a temporary memorial at the Rose Garden after moving a makeshift memorial from the shooting site. So what can you tell us about the progress so far?
We are in a moment of transition, frankly. We had an enormous art installation as well as a memorial sort of in the same place. It became clear that the art installation had served a wonderful purpose at the beginning of bringing the community together, but then was starting to trigger folks who were needing to take the bus to school, needing to come into town. So the art installation was taken down, but we still obviously needed a place and a way for folks to come by, to remember, to reflect. And so now we're in the process of putting together this temporary memorial. It's very sort of de minimis at the moment, and it will transition in about 2 weeks to the Rose Garden next to City Hall as an opportunity. We know from best practices from the Department of Justice, people should be able to opt into this type of experience, not have it pushed upon them. The Rose Garden is just off of one of our major streets, very accessible, but also a quieter place, a more reflective place, an opportunity for people to think through and reflect on what happened and to obviously remember those lives that were lost way too soon.
Mayor Rotering, since that 4th of July tragedy, you've been very vocal, very outspoken. You've testified before Congress, pushing for a ban on assault-style weapons. Just earlier this week, you were before the DuPage County Board as well, urging them to join in lobbying against the ban of these type of weapons. Where do you think we stand with gun control right now in the wake of not just the tragedy in Highland Park, but just recently in St. Louis, other, Uvalde, you just name it, there have been so many, unfortunately, Buffalo. So where do you think things stand locally as well as nationally?
Locally, I have hope that we're going to take action statewide in the new year. That's what we're pushing for. I've been talking to mayors and county boards and, frankly, school boards, anybody who will listen. We all live at risk of this violence coming into our lives, whether it's from a mass shooting or gun violence within neighborhoods where there's a preponderance of guns. So we need to talk about this, I think, in a different way. People have become inured to the phrase gun violence. They've become inured to the phrases mass shootings. Oh, another mass shooting that's horrible for your city, without realizing that there is every likelihood that this will come to any city, any school, anytime. So
there's no
to
zip
me,
code, no area that's immune or safe.
So we need to talk about it more as the human rights violation that it is, the terrorism that it is, living in fear that this could come to your neighborhood, could come to your school. In the wake of the 4th of July shooting, the students that I talked to were completely not surprised, which is horrifying to me. They've been training their entire lives for an active shooter to come into their day. And those of us who are older remember tornado drills. We sure don't remember having to worry about an active shooter coming into school. This is a real issue that needs to be discussed on its face for what it is. We're the only nation that allows this to occur. It's a uniquely American problem. I've talked to folks in other countries who literally cannot comprehend how we've allowed it to get to this point. And so to that end, we are working hard to really change the language, to really focus in on it's not political. It's about public safety. It's about public health. It's about human rights. We can't let terrorism reign.
And Mayor, moving back to this memorial, is there a day or a date when people can go see it?
So the transition will likely be around November 10th or 11th. We are ordering and preparing specific personalized plaques to each of those we lost in close consultation with their families. We have an unbelievable social worker, a bilingual social worker on our police force who's been in touch with the next of kin to make sure that their specific wishes are being heard. They've gone through this unspeakable tragedy, and everybody's different in how they grieve and how they mourn. So we're trying to be very deliberative and careful in how we reflect each of those precious lives that were lost.
Mayor Rotering, I have to say that, obviously you've been tremendously impacted by this, but your leadership's been tremendous, trying to be a calming influence for Highland Park and the area. How are you doing more than 3 months after all of this transpired?
It literally depends on the day. we had family members who were right within the proximity of the actual shooting. My son was in the parade. My husband was right in front of where it all happened. But my community is one that's strong. I grew up in Highland Park. I marched in that parade as a Brownie and as a Girl Scout. My goal is to provide comfort to those who are basically my family. This is my family. But also to recognize the tragedy and the horror that came to our city, not to let it define us, but to make sure that we are respectful and recognizing the impact specifically on those who are still recovering, and to be thoughtful in terms of their own new journeys that have been foisted upon them. To me, it's a balance of how do we provide comfort, how do we provide respect, how do we then also turn this into action? I can't tell you how many of the families have reached out and said, we're still in deep agony, but we also need action. And so turning that passion into action so that no other community has to go through this kind of pain.
Yeah. So as you said, people deal with this differently, and you have to balance that. We're here talking about this memorial. It's being called a temporary memorial.
Right.
Is there any plan to make something more permanent somewhere else?
There will absolutely be a permanent memorial in Highland Park, sadly, just as there is in Newtown, Connecticut, and in Orlando, Florida, and to your point, likely to come in Buffalo and all these other cities that have been torn apart by this kind of devastation. So we will be putting together a committee. Again, we're taking our time. One of the most important lessons we learned was we thought we had to do this by next July 4th. Completely the wrong approach. All of these families are still working through, and as I mentioned, some are still going to and from the hospital to deal with these complex and devastating wounds. We need to let those most deeply affected start their new journeys with the abilities that they've been now recognizing, and so we're taking our time, but it will be a place of reflection, a place of remembrance, a place of peace, and a fitting place for those who have been most directly affected. Now, that's not to say that the thousands who were traumatized also won't be heard. They absolutely will be, and that's my goal. For those who next 4th of July need that place for solace and reflection, to have this temporary place for them to sit and reflect, but not in the middle of a busy intersection with the train roaring by, which is where the first location was.
Highland Park Mayor Nancy Rotering, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for letting me join you.
Continued
Appreciate it.
support for what you're dealing with your community.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.